Welcome to the channel. In this video today we're going to be going over a Nightblade tank for Blackwood. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Max Magicka is 22.7, maximum health is 43.8, maximum stamina is 23.2. Now, magic recovery is 1.8, spell resistance is 21k, and so is physical resistance. That is unbuffed. I am an Imperial, so just keep that in mind. Nords will have a little more resistances. I think they'll have less health, I believe, but that's just kind of what I am. I have 30 points into Magicka, 4 into health, and 30 into stamina. The boon that I'm running is the Atro, and don't really worry about the Werewolf. Sometimes I kind of just want to have some fun in Werewolf tank, but it won't play a factor into this build. So, fully buffed. Our resistance is 27k across the board, but at the same time, our monster set will push us up into that 30k range. So, when it procs. Champion points. For the passives in the green tree, I use Gilded Fingers, or 50 into Gilded Fingers, 50 into Fortune's Favor, 50 into Steadfast Enchantment, and that's it for the passives for the most part. Now the ones I keep on my bar is Treasure Hunter, because when you find that treasure chest, it's always better to have this on your bar as it is, so it gives you better quality items. Master Gather, reduce the time it takes to harvest by 10% per stage. You have a 10% chance to gain double the yield from normal resource nodes per stage, so I just kind of keep those on. And then I have Liquid Efficiency. Whenever you use a potion or poison, you have a 10% chance to not consume it. It helps, even though it's 10%, it definitely can save you some gold in the end. Now you can use this one too, Rationer. It'll add 30 minutes more to your food, but it's really not that needed at all. Now, in the blue tree, 20 into Quick Recovery, 20 into Hardy, 20 into Preparation, 20 into Elemental Aegis, 20 into Tireless Discipline, 20 into Eldritch Insight, and 20 into Blessed. These all go to your bar, so I'm not using those, but that is the only passive that I really use out of there. Now for the ones I keep on my bar, I have Unassassinable. I hope I'm saying that right. Bulwark, Reinforced, and Duelist Rebuff. Now, if the enemy that I'm fighting has, or the boss or whatever, has more damage over time abilities than just kind of AoE attacks, or it's this one, then I will switch them out. You know, if I got to worry about AoEs and single target, then I'll use these two. Or, but for the most part, throughout most dungeons, I'm just sticking with these two: Unassassinable and Duelist Rebuff. Now, the red tree is where most of your stuff comes from. For the passive wise, I'm using 20 in Defiance, 30 into Tumbling. I have 36 here into Tumbling. Eventually, I will get this to 50. 20 into Hero's Vigor. This one doesn't really matter as much, but then we put the 10 there just to get to here, which is Return to Life as a Resurrection after Resurrection with 10% more resources. So it's just, if we lose focus or whatever and get one shot at, this will at least give us back more resources, so we're just, when we res, we don't have to worry about getting a shard or something for stamina. We'll have more than we normally do. 20 to Sprinter, because as a tank, it's definitely nice to have your stamina, so the reduced cost is nice. Haste, 16 into Hasty, just so that way we can keep up with the DPS running ahead of us. 30 into Fortification, 20 into Tireless Guardian, 30 into Savage Defense, 6 into Nimble Protector. Now, if you want to, you can definitely put in some into Bash and Brutality if you want to. I haven't, because I'm not. It just increases the damage of your Bash, and I don't really worry about damage as a tank. Now, for the ones I keep on my bar, Bloody Renewal. This just gives us back some stamina whenever we kill an enemy. Rejuvenation gives us health, magic, and stamina recovery. Ironclad gives us armor, and Balanced Vitality, which gives us max health. Now, that's pretty much it for the CP points. Sets. The first 5-piece set I'm running is a basic oldie but a goodie. It's an overland set from East March. It's called the Akavir Dragon Guard. I'm using an axe. You can use a sword, axe, dagger, mace. It doesn't really matter. Infused with a weakening enchant just to reduce target's weapon damage and spell damage. We have a sturdy shield with maximum health on your back bar. You can do, if you put max magicka on this one, I will say instead of max health, the way that it's set up right now as an Imperial, your magicka will be higher than your stamina on your front bar. And then when you switch to your back bar, your magicka will drop off to be below your stamina. So if you wanted to do that to maybe you're running low on magicka and you could pop an orb that way or whatever, you could do either one of those, but I just put in max health here. It's basically just because that's what the shield came with, so I've just kind of been rolling with it. Back bar, we have an infused frost staff with a crusher enchant on it. It's going to reduce the target's physical and spell resistance for 5 seconds. And then we have jewelry, all healthy, all magic recovery on our neck and ring. Now what this set does is that basically it's going to give us magic recovery, adds 4% healing taken, adds 1.1k max health, and the 5-piece will add some health recovery. It's not a big deal, but it reduces the cost of your ultimate abilities by 15%. And again, this comes from East March. It's a really good one to have, whether you have, I have weapons and jewelry, and body pieces, because this is just a good set to have, just to be able to interchange it, because you never know. Especially as an off tank, this comes in quite handy if you're the off tank, or even if you're the main tank, it works out in 4-man content as well. Now, monster set, we're rolling with Bloodspawn, 1 light infused, maximum health, and a medium shoulder sturdy with max health. This comes from Spindle Clutch 2, I want to say. I think I'm right. Pretty sure it's Spindle Clutch 2, but just to be on the safe side, we're going to check it out, make sure. Where is Spindle Clutch? There it is. Yeah, Spindle Clutch. Yeah, Spindle Clutch 2, I'm pretty sure. So, now what this set does is that it's basically giving us stam recovery, which isn't necessarily really needed, but it is nice to have a little bit extra. And then when you take damage, you have a 6% chance to generate 13 ultimate and increase your physical and spell resistance by 3.6k for 5 seconds. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds. So this is going to give us more ultimate, and this is going to reduce the cost of our ultimates. And then finally, our second 5th-piece set is Arceus. It's going to give us max health, armor, maximum health, and whenever you drink a potion while in combat, you and 3 group members gain 43 ultimate. This effect can occur once every 30 seconds. Now, run an infused chest, max health, sturdy waist with max health, sturdy gloves with maximum health, infused legs, max health, and sturdy boots with maximum health. Now, if you wanted to, something to be easier, you can run like maybe 2 pieces of dragon on the body with the jewelry or whatever, and then run an ice staff Arceus on the back bar, and put the Maelstrom sword, excuse me, the Maelstrom sword and board on your front bar, so that way, because the Maelstrom weapon will give you, when you low slash and then heavy attack within 5 seconds, you'll restore magicka and stamina. So that would be a way to maintain resources. But if not, you can just go with this setup. Dragon Guard isn't that expensive, and Arceus you have to farm from, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it's Stone Garden. Yeah, it's Stone Garden. So you could definitely use an ice staff on the back bar with this if you wanted to. There is another set you can also pair it with. Honestly, it's up to you on if you want to do that, from Black Drake, which is Drake's Rush, which is basically when you bash an enemy, you and up to 3 group members within 15 meters of you gain major heroism for 12 seconds, granting you 3 ultimate every 1.5 seconds. This effect can occur once every 18 seconds. So you can really go with Arceus and Drake Rush, and you would basically be given the group their ultimates back within seconds. That would definitely bump DPS wise, but if you don't feel like farming 2 dungeons, then Arceus and Dragon Guard will do you just fine. Honestly, as a Nightblade, I would go with Dragon Guard over Drake's Rush due to the fact that I already get ultimate back so much quicker due to my skill setup. Skills: your main taunt, pierce armor, you're thrusting your weapon with discipline and precision at an enemy, dealing 2.4k physical damage, and taunting them to attack you for 15 seconds. You also inflict the enemy minor breach and major breach on the enemy, reducing their physical and spell resistance by 2.9k and 5.9k for 15 seconds. Heroic Slash is our second ability. Well, pierce armor, basically this is our main taunt. It's also our debuff for the taunt. And then Heroic Slash. We surprise an enemy with a deep lunge, dealing 2.9k physical damage and afflicting them with minor maim, reducing their damage done by 5% for 12 seconds. And we gain minor heroism, granting you one ultimate every 1.5 seconds for 12 seconds. Dark Cloak. Shroud yourself in a protection shadow to heal for 2.6k every 1 second over 8 seconds. This portion of this ability scales off your max health. You gain minor protection for 8 seconds, reducing your damage taken by 5%. So with two abilities, we're going to give them minor maim, and then on top of that, we're going to give ourselves minor protection. So it's a really good combo. Plus, with a weakening enchant, their damage is already going to be reduced as it is. So this just kind of works out in our favor. Mirage, surround yourself in a phantasmic aura. I hope I'm saying that right. Gain major evasion and minor resolve, reducing damage from area attacks by 20% and increase your physical and spell resistance by 2.9k. So we're going to get minor resolve from this ability, but also from our passive tier in Under Shadow. When we cast a shadow ability, grants major resolve for 6 seconds, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 5.9k. This duration is increased by 25% for each piece of heavy armor equipped. Current bonus 125%, so it will last for 13.5 seconds. Now, this lasts for 13.5 seconds, and the main ability that we're going to be really casting it with is Refreshing Path, which lasts for 10 seconds. So we should never have a downtime on Major Resolve as long as we keep that ability up. Plus, it also procs off of Dark Cloak, but Dark Cloak only lasts for 6 to 8 seconds. So, Leeching Strikes. Imbue your weapon with soul stealing power, causing your light and heavy attacks to heal you for 1.5k health and restore 106 stamina for 20 seconds. Fully charged heavy attacks restore twice the value. You restore up to 4.2k additional stamina when the effect ends, based on the length of time Leeching Strikes was active. Now, if you're getting your shards and stuff and you're having no problem sustaining stamina, you may want to switch this out to the Magicka Morph, which will basically restore Magicka instead of stamina. But Magicka has never been much of an issue for me, so I've always just kind of used Leeching Strikes. But if you are having that trouble, do make that swap, because that will help you a lot. Now, on front bar, we're using Soul Harvest. We're never casting this. This is not an ability we're going to cast. We have it here just for the last ability while slotted. Anytime you kill an enemy, you gain 10 ultimate. That's it. That's the only reason why it's here. I've been running this like this for a long time. If you wanted to, you could definitely put the Sword and Board ultimate here or Barrier. It does not matter. I think you could even go with the Consuming Darkness or Soul Shroud, whichever morph. But it's up to you. Personally, I like this. Just makes us get our ultimates back so much quicker. And the whole point of this build is to pump out Warhorns. That's it. That's it. That's what this whole setup is for. How to go about it. Now our back bar, Inner Rage, ignite the fires of hate in an enemy's heart, dealing 2.4k magic damage, and taunting them to attack you for 15 seconds. A ranged ally targeting the taunted enemy can activate the Radiant Synergy, dealing 4.5k magic damage to them over 3 seconds, and an additional 4.5k magic damage to them and other nearby enemies. This is just here for a ranged taunt. So if there's an enemy over there bowing, shooting somebody down, or someone's running with an ad that's attached to them, we can't run over there and taunt them. So it's not always good just to run up and taunt and then run back, because then we move the ball, so we move the other ads that we already had piled up. So this way we can just taunt it and it'll run to us, and then once it gets to us, don't forget to hit it with piercing armor, so that way you debuff it. Now Silver Leash basically just pulls the enemy to us. That's the only reason why we're using it. It's our chain, more or less. That's it. Blockade of Frost. Slam your staff down to create an ice barrier in front of you. The damage isn't necessarily needed, but the damage isn't really that big of a deal. The chilled is nice, which freezes enemies, and their chilled enemies become frozen or immobilized for 4 seconds when it procs that. It also now gives a damage shield that it can absorb 11.4k damage from projectiles. But the main reason... Oh, did not mean to do that. I thought I was hitting circle. Oops. The main reason why we have it here is for our Crusher enchant. That's it. You can see it proccing at the very top. This just makes sure Crusher stays active. That's the only reason why we're really using this. The chilled is nice. but at the same time, it keeps it down. Now, if you want to go double sword and board, if for whatever reason you want to, you can take Refreshing Path here, which is the next ability that we use, and turn it into like Twisting Path, which does damage, because Refreshing Path does not do damage, and it will keep Crusher procced, because I'm pretty sure Refreshing Path in itself, because it's not dealing any damage, will not proc it, as you can see. But Twisting Path will deal damage to the target, so therefore will proc the Crusher enchant, if you want to stick to double sword and board instead of sword and board and ice staff. Now, anyways, Refreshing Path in itself, the reason why we use it is that it's nice. It gives us major expedition, so it can get us from target to target quicker. But it also heals people in it for 1.2k health to you and allies in area every 1 second. So if you ain't got a healer, you can just throw Refreshing Path down. So, because you'll have the mob, or let's do it this way. The boss will be facing you. You'll be standing in front of the boss. And then if everybody groups up behind it, this is a pretty long ability. So as long as they're, within it, they'll be getting those heals. So now if they're running around and dancing and doing all that over here, they're not going to get the heals. But as long as they stay within your Refreshing Path, they will get some heals. So if you're running 3 DPS, at least this way you'll provide some kind of heals. And plus, with the last ability on our back bar, outside the ultimate, Echoing Vigor, let loose a battle cry, instilling you and your allies with resolve and healing for 7.2k health over 9.3 seconds. This is just another nice little heal. As you can see, it's a pretty big heal. So if they're within your Refreshing Path here, they should be close enough to get the Echoing Vigor. So, now, Aggressive Warrant. Like I said, this whole thing is about getting Warrants. You sound on one horn to rally your forces, increasing you and your group's max magic and max stamina by 10% for 30 seconds. You and your allies gain major force, increasing your critical damage by 20% for 10 seconds. This is it. Now, sometimes the healers do not run more warrants, so casting one at the beginning of the fight and then at the end of the fight is about the best you can do. Well, with this kind of setup, you can pretty much do the Warhorn at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. You'll have one back quick. So, let me just go ahead and pop this. So now we have 0 ultimate. So we'll go through and do some basic stuff. This is kind of what you would be doing. And then you just pop Warhorn, and you're already back up over 100, just off of your simple rotation. So, as you can see, we're already almost there. And then plus you take into consideration as you're running around killing mobs, you'll have your Warhorn back in no time. It really is that quick. So the cost of our Warhorn is 200, and we're at 166. Didn't take very long at all. So you should have your Warhorn, it was 23 seconds, let's just say. So 23 seconds, we were at 166. Warhorn lasts for a total of, well, they get major force for 10 seconds, but the rest of it lasts for 30 seconds. Max magic and max stamina. So there's no reason that should ever drop off with you. So, this is all that is. If, like I said, if you want to make it more, this is pretty group friendly with the Arceus, because for the most part they're getting 43 ultimate. That should be enough to get them their stuff back. No problem. But if you want to make that even faster, replace Dragon Guard with Drake's Rush, and they should have their ultimate back just as, if not as quick as you. Most of them should get theirs back first. Because I think like Dawnbreaker is, if its stamina is like 125. If it's Nightblade, their ultimates, are like 60, 70 ultimate. 56 on this one. So even Sorcerers, Wardens, all of them, their ultimates should come back extremely quick as well. So that would be the only thing I would trade out if I trade out anything here, would be Dragon Guard for Drake's Rush. But then you would have to farm 2 dungeons instead of 1 dungeons. And if you ain't got time for that, then it's not that big of a deal. This is a nice little, you can just farm 1 dungeon, get your Arceus, and then get your Overland Stat Activated Dragon Guard from East March or Guild Traders. So, that is the setup that I've been running on my Nightblade tank for a while now. Let me know what you're running. Let me know if you like Nightblade tanking. And as always, I shouldn't say as always, food and potions and stuff like that, be with Sugar Skull is the best, but I feel like right now the stamina magica is a little bugged. I might be wrong. Maybe it's just my account, which happens. Um, Crown Fortified Mill isn't necessarily. It's good. You can run that as well. You know, but Wither Tree will give you more stats, or Longfin Pasta, but it's not by much. As you can see, you get 4.410 health there, and you get 4.462 health here. And the same thing with resources, 457, 4057, 4105. So it's not a huge difference between the two, so you can really run either one. Now, be with Sugar Skull is a lot more than is a good chunk more than the Wither Tree Ensign, or the Longfin Pasta, but just go with whichever one you want to use. So until next time, always take care.